This
Okay,
conference will now be recorded.
great. So welcome to the January Problem Gambling Prevention Provider monthly meeting. Welcome to everybody who's joined us so far today. Because we are recording this video, we want to make sure we have good audio for both the recording as well as for everybody who's on the call. If you could please mute yourself when you're not speaking to reduce the background noise. If you're on your phone, you can do that with 6 to mute and then, or *6 to mute and then *6 to unmute. Or you can mute your headset by using your computer. You could also, if the GoToMeeting box is bothering you on your screen, and you can always click on the orange arrow button and it will minimize it. And you can also use the chat box if you need to catch my attention as we're going along here. So our agenda for today is we'll do an introduction roll call. And so I will do that here in just a minute, but we also have some general updates from PGS as well as some specific things. We'll do some provider updates and then we'll do wrap up. So, well, we'll back up here for a second. So we'll go ahead and do roll call. And so on the call right now, I just will let everybody know we have Claire Rahul from Multnomah County. Heather Oliver has joined us from Columbia County. Jessica McDonald is with Deschutes. John Courtney. John, where are you joining us from? I've unmuted you, John. Or if John, if you could put in the chat box where you're joining us from, that would be great as well, so that we know who you are and where you're joining us from. So then we also have, I'm going to probably not say your name accurately. So uh, is it Kalu from VOA? Did I say
That's
that
co-
correct?
that's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then we have Carrie has joined us from Umatilla County. Nicholas is with us today, or Nick has joined us from Crook County. So if there's anybody else on the line that I'm not aware of, if you could just put in, let's see, if you're just on the call and you're not with us, go ahead and email me so that I'll know that you're here so that I can make sure to that you get any follow-up information. So with that, we'll get going here. So our PGS general updates is that we will have out to you by February 4th the biennial implementation plan format and definitions for you to kind of take a look at and review. Those will be for the biennial implementation plans that will be due the end of May, which is for our upcoming biennium, the 2019-2021. I just wanted you guys to get the opportunity to see the format. We will be also discussing the format and talking about how to utilize the form at our April problem gambling prevention conference over in Lincoln City. So, but I just want to let you know that those will be coming out to you soon to take a look at. We're also, the biennial implementation plans, I want to just again mention those will be due the end of May. Please note that it's a matter of submitting your plan. You may still be needing to make some changes to your plan, etc. It will not impact your funding if your plan has not been fully approved yet prior to the start of the biennium, but you do need to have submitted a plan for review by the end of May. We are in the process of developing an adolescent fact sheet. Currently, it's in draft stage. Want to have our Prevention Advisory Committee take a look at it, and then we'll be finalizing that. We did get the Department of Ed we have a contact and collaborative relationship with them at this point now, and they have agreed to disseminate out to the school districts once our fact sheet is complete, and you guys will be able to utilize that as well and design any additional materials from that if you would like to. The other piece is that the new Oregon health standards have been adopted. They were created in 2016, but are now being fully implemented in 2018. So those are the health standards of the Department of Education. We're going to be reviewing those standards and looking at them for opportunities to where problem gambling prevention can at the local level, you guys can be collaborating with your school districts as well as what we can do at the state level. So we do encourage you, if you haven't already reviewed the standards, go ahead and take a look at those. You can find them on the Oregon Department of Education's website, or if you just type in Oregon Health Standards, Department of Ed, they'll pop up as well. And I have included the link here, and so when this PowerPoint presentation goes out, you'll be able to have that active link as well. Also wanted to let folks know that we do have several boxes. Several is like more than 25 boxes of the 2019 Problem Gambling Awareness Calendar available still. If you would like to request some of those, go ahead and shoot me an email and we'll get those sent out to you. We definitely want to make sure that they all get out to the communities and are being disseminated out to those folks who need them and want them. So Problem Gambling Awareness Month, it's fastly approaching, which is just kind of makes me sad that it's almost already here, but it's also very exciting, but it's just like, oh my goodness, it's already almost March. And so we get the whole month of March for Problem Gambling Awareness Month for those of you who are new to problem gambling prevention, which is exciting for us. The state of Oregon, in partnership with the Oregon Lottery, will be submitting a proclamation to have the governor of Oregon and the Secretary of State proclaim March as Problem Gambling Awareness Month here in Oregon. And so that's something you can also do at the local level with your counties or administrators to do that. And so as soon as the proclamation has gone through the process at the governor's office and gets signed off on, and we get a copy of that to send out to you, we will do so. The National Problem Gambling Council has shifted their theme this year. The previous theme for Problem Gambling Awareness Month was Have the Conversation. They've made a shift, which makes sense, to Awareness to Action, which is really that next step after having the conversation. So I wanted to share with you that the new theme is Awareness plus Action. And so when we're looking at that and thinking about that in our work, we're still going to be having that conversation because that's how we get in the door. That is the big piece for us, is having that conversation, sharing that information out there that gambling is an activity that carries risk. But we also would like you to go to that next step about thinking about what is your ask? What action are you asking of your audience that you would really like to have them move forward for you, and include that in your messaging? So some of the suggestions, and of course this list is not totally comprehensive, it's just suggestions, is that, one of the things you're asking them is that they become aware that gambling is an activity that carries risk, that they can walk away from that with that information and have conversations with people within their circle of influence. If they're parents, have that conversation with their youth. If they're teachers, have that, have that conversation with their students or their peers. And it goes, right back out to, any of the other entities that we would be out there having the conversation with, and wanting to make sure that the message that gambling is an activity that carries risk is getting out there. How can they take that message and carry it forward? You're asking them to know the symptoms. Potentially knowing some of the responsible gambling messaging, or also, lastly, but also very important, when we raise concern, we always want to raise hope. So being aware of what resources are out there and available for them at the community level. So knowing how to get to OPGR to find out more additional information. Or, also even at the local level where the treatment facilities are, or just how they can engage more in prevention activities that you have going on in the community. So just be thinking about that because it is fast approaching. If you were planning on doing some specific activities during March. You can use the theme. You can always visit the National Council on Problem Gambling's website, and under their resource page, they have a tab for Problem Gambling Awareness Month, and you can pull the logos if you'd like to use them on any of your materials right from there. We will also look to see about getting those posted on our Oregon PGS website as well. Boom, boom, boom. So one of the activities that we do during Problem Gambling Awareness Month is, although you can start it at any point in time, but it comes to an end during the end of Problem Gambling Awareness Month, is our Problem Gambling Awareness Calendar and Art Search project. So all of you should have received your Art Search flyer. It's in the mail. It's also been posted on the Oregon PGS website to get the information out to your area middle school students. Doesn't always have to be within a school setting. You can always work with clubs, etc., 4-H, to provide some education and have them participate in the art search contest. So the deadline for the youth to get the artwork to you is March 29th. Our deadline for us, unfortunately, boy, I should have pulled that, but there's a date in April that was on the letter that I sent out to you guys, and I will be sending that information out again. So we give you time after the deadline for artwork to be submitted to you to do your local contest, and then getting your 5 submissions that you want to send to us up to us here. Probably, I think it's the 3rd week of April, and I apologize, I should have looked at that date. And then we do our local contest here and get out all the winner information to you guys by the first week or so of May, so that you can get the stuff back to the students if you were working with students before they leave the school setting. So we're excited again for the contest. We've had the artwork this has come in the last few years has really been pretty awesome, and the calendar just keeps getting better and better, in my opinion, as we move forward. So really looking forward to as many of you as possible participating in this art search contest. And then there's, again, in the letter that went out to you, there's a variety of ways that you can use the artwork beyond just submitting it to the calendar art search. You can highlight that in your own community, get businesses to hang the artwork in their locations. You can work with your board of commissioners. Many folks have used them in their own media ads, have used them on their Facebook postings. There's just a great way to, just not the calendar, but that you can actually highlight your youth artwork throughout the year, even as you're doing your problem gambling prevention work. Let's see. So wanted to just put out the schedule for the Prevention Connect call or meeting. It's a little bit more than just a call now, since we use the GoToMeeting as our venue. But the 3rd Thursday of the month, when we were having our meeting, it conflicted with the state Oregon Healthy Teen, which will morph to the new survey once we've completed the last cycle once they've completed, public health has completed the last cycle of the student wellness survey and the Oregon Healthy Teen survey. It conflicts with that meeting time. And so for me to be able to actively participate on that committee, I needed to shift this meeting to the 3rd Wednesday, which is now, this is our first 3rd Wednesday of the month meeting from 9 to 10. We're hopeful that this will also free it up for some of the folks who were unable to attend in the past because of conflicts, but we know not everybody will this time work for. So we'll always strive to record all the meetings to accommodate those who can't join us, and then get the slide deck sent out, as well as the recording posted on the Oregon PGS site. And if anybody misses a meeting and would like to just give me a phone call and catch up, I am more than happy always to share with you all the things that we discuss during the meeting. So I'm happy when my phone rings. If I'm here to answer it, I absolutely love to talk with you. Oh, I wanted just to kind of reiterate too that on the months when we have an all provider meeting, so that's where treatment and prevention come together, and usually we have both, the Oregon Lottery also does an update for us during that time frame. We don't have our problem gambling prevention connect call because we want to, want to honor the time commitment that it takes from you guys to participate in these meetings. So that's why in February we do have a meeting, a Prevention Connect call, but March is an all provider. And then April and May we have our Connect calls, and then in June is all provider. And then we'll get the rest of the schedule for our Prevention Connect calls through the end of the year is on the Oregon PGS Workforce Development page. You can click on the link there and it will open up the entire schedule for both prevention and treatment and all providers if you're wanting to see what the schedule is and what the links are ahead of time. Okay, so the spring prevention training, want to reiterate, we sent out the registration flyer and stipend information. I want to apologize to everybody that on the initial community readiness training flyer, I'm sorry, not on the community readiness, but on the prevention conference flyer, that the link initially was wrong on the first flyer that went out, and so I had to send a repeat to correct that error. So I do apologize for that. But there are two events that are happening, and they require registration for both events separately so that we could track. It's mainly the tracking is to ensure that we have the proper number of seats set up, as well as about ordering the food, because we do provide breakfast and lunch. Breakfast and lunch on both the full days, and then on the half day we provide breakfast. So to make sure that we have a good head count for the meals, we require the registration. And so April 10th is a full day, and that is for our Community Readiness Assessment Project program that participated in the 2018-19 project. It is where we're coming back together. Everybody will have completed their interviews, their scoring, have their final scores, and are coming back together to talk about what do those scores mean and what strategies should they look toward implementing into their next biennial implementation plan to start helping move them forward. So if your county did not participate in the 2018-19 Community Readiness Assessment Model Project, you do not need to attend this training. Although, I mean, we're not going to tell you cannot attend, but it certainly isn't, it might be a little harder to track or follow because you haven't completed all of the previous work. There is a whole new cohort of community readiness projects that are coming up in the next biennium, but we will repeat this training for those programs. So just kind of wanted to put that out there, that this is a required training for the folks that were part of the 2018-19 project. And so, but not required for all folks who didn't participate. So then the next day on April 11th starts our prevention conference. So the first day is the training, and the second day, April 11th, is a conference. And that is also a full day, and we will have Montana State University will be joining us, and they will be rolling out the Positive Community Framework Toolkit that they have been working with us on and developing, and they have been providing trainings for us for the last, about a year and a half to get us ready for this. But they will be there to roll out that toolkit. They will also actually be attending the community readiness assessment training the previous day to try to figure out, think about areas where folks who have completed the assessment, where the toolkit could mesh well. But so the first day of the conference will be the Positive Cultural Framework Toolkit rollout. The second day is a half day where we'll have some statewide updates. And then the major focus of that is our biennial implementation plan training. And so I'd mentioned earlier that we'll be sending out the document for you to look at, so it won't be brand new to you when you come in April. You could actually already start working on it as you go along if you have the information that you need to do that. But we just want to make sure that everybody is comfortable with the document, is comfortable with what it will be looking for in that. And it's also a great opportunity for us to do some this word kind of gets overutilized, but networking or sharing and discussion around different strategies and different things that other programs are doing or thinking about doing, so that there's that opportunity for the collaboration in some instances, as well as, hey, that's a great idea, and you know, that really might make sense in our community where we could do that as well. All 3 days will be at the Inn at Spanish Head in Lincoln City. For those of you who are in need of a stipend to attend these trainings and the training or the conference, please go ahead and fill out the document that was sent out. If you need the information sent to you again, I'm more than happy to forward that out to you. But also, registration at the Inn at Spanish Head is now open, so you can start booking your rooms for that event. So we're very hopeful we'll have some great weather, and we know we'll have some great conversations and opportunity to come together. So prevention workforce development. Some general updates on that is that under the new the Service Element 80, there's a new prevention coordinator trainings requirement, and that requires that new prevention coordinators from the time that the requirement has come in is that they within 2 years complete a series of trainings. And so we are in the process of trying to make sure that those trainings are available to you. Now, again, know that you have 2 years to complete this. So if something's not quite being offered yet, there's an opportunity for us to still make sure that you can get that information, or there may be other entities that are offering similar trainings that you could send me the curriculum to, or not the curriculum, but the agenda, so that we know what it's about. We could approve that as well. But in an effort to help all of the new coordinators that we have, we will be offering a Problem Gambling 101 webinar on March 12th from 10 to noon for those new coordinators who have not yet completed a Problem Gambling 101 training. So if you've completed one and have a certificate, there's no need to join this webinar. But if you'd like to join us, we're always happy to have you as well. So the registration information is here on this link here. But we will also be sending that out to all the new coordinators. So the other piece that we are doing simultaneously is we are developing a Problem Gambling 101 recording that will be available online. So it won't be this webinar that we'll be conducting in March, but it will actually be a recorded training that we'll hopefully, at this point, we're looking at hosting it on our state iLearn system to be available for new coordinators as they start coming on board. The recording will be available prior to the end of June of 2019. We have a contract to get that done with one of our great providers who has an awesome voice, Andy Cartmill, will be doing the recording for that. But more to come on that. We want to make sure that folks are having are not struggling with using the state iLearn system. I know that for those of you who work with public health, under your ADPEP contracts, you're required to do a training on the iLearn system, and I've been talking to people to see if that's been an issue, but we'll keep you abreast of that, and as other trainings become available that we can post there, we'll let you know. So we also, one of the other requirements on the prevention coordinator training is a prevention foundation, and that's really understanding the basics behind prevention. and the terminology, what we're looking at. And so we are developing a webinar right now on the Prevention Foundation. And then we'll also be following the same process we're doing above on the Problem Gambling 101, where we'll be recording it and having it available online. So those two webinars will be happening soon. But at the same time, we are also looking at a permanent solution for people to access those trainings. Also wanted to let folks know that we are, since we're right back, all the first few things have been about new prevention coordinators. We've had a pretty big influx of new coordinators over the last year, and some positions haven't stayed very long and have moved on. But we want to make sure that when a new coordinator comes on board, that they know exactly what is required of them, that they have some step-by-step things they need to accomplish. They know where to go to look for information, what trainings they need to take, etc. So we're developing a new coordinator checklist, and the flip side of that will also be a checklist for the state problem gambling prevention position, which currently is my position, which will then be my checklist of what I need to do also when a new coordinator starts, so that we can make sure that we're onboarding people effectively and that they're able to, can't really say hit the ground running, because many times prevention is brand new to many of these folks coming in, but that they have the tools that they need to really get up and get running much quicker than what we've been able to do in the past. So those are things that are coming your way soon. And that the new coordinator checklist will also be something that our advisory committee will be reviewing for us as well. And we'll be getting out to you guys for feedback on, because you guys in the field are the experts on what you need to actually do your jobs. So the last thing on workforce development, we talked about this the last few meetings, is the 5-year workforce development plan. That is a high-level plan, but it is now available on Oregon PGS, and you can find that at the link there, posted there on our Oregon PGS website. And again, what I mentioned was a high-level plan, but we also, under another document of this part of that plan, is that we really talked about what are the priorities for both prevention and treatment. So we have a separate document that we're working off of on that, and many of the priorities that were determined either through the survey that you folks took that were with us last summer, or some focus group information we did at one of our trainings, as well as with the advisory group. We really came up with some different things they wanted to look at. And so some of the top priorities that we were looking at were to explore collaborative partnerships with other entities to increase opportunities for professional development and community education. So really looking at, going back to even the previous information I was talking about, is what can we do with other entities to ensure that training opportunities are available, so that you guys have more opportunities to gain information and knowledge in your profession as prevention coordinators and specialists. We also want to look at different ways to infuse gambling into other addiction and prevention study curriculums and disciplines across the continuum of services that are out there, because there's a great way integration of problem gambling into many of those topic areas. It's really a great way to get your message out there, and an easier way to get in the door. Some of the other things that were discussed were to develop a mentor program, so pairing more experienced prevention coordinators with a newer coordinator, looking at it at a regional level as well, but different ways to where when some coordinators are starting new in their position, that they have someone that they can check in and touch base with as well. Looking at reducing barriers to obtaining for those folks who are seeking their certified prevention specialists, looking at removing barriers to that and potentially opportunities for subsidizing for testing, etc. So there are a variety of different things, and so we'll have more information about the different priorities out to you guys soon. But wanted to let you know that you can read the plan, the 5-year plan, and again, please be aware that it's a high-level plan, so it doesn't break down into all of the individual strategies that will be or activities that will be implemented to meet the strategies. Whew, boy, I'm talking a lot. So, community readiness assessment. Just wanted folks to know that we had 23 programs that participated in the 2018-19 project. Many of those programs are at that process of completing their interviews and scoring. And just that little plug again, reminder to those programs, they are required to attend the April 10th full day community readiness strategy planning training. We have 8 programs that will be participating in the 2019-20 project that will roll out starting in July. So we're excited to keep moving forward on that. For all of those, for the new projects that will be rolling out in 2019-2020, as well as the ones that are completing now, there is technical assistance available, whether if folks are struggling with their scoring of their interviews currently, or once the new project starts up in July, if there are questions, we do have that technical assistance available, so that I want to make sure people are aware of that. And then let's see, so Problem Gaming Services, we have completed our community readiness assessment interviews here and our scoring process. Our scoring process was completed yesterday. So we are also at this time ready to start developing our strategic plan for internal awareness here. So to make sure that OHA is also getting the benefit of our problem gaming prevention awareness activities, and that we can start moving ourselves forward as an organization as well. So the interviews themselves were very informative, and I'm excited for us to be developing our plan here. And we will be utilizing the same planning format that is going to be required of all of you folks in your biennial implementation plan. So we will be creating a biennial implementation plan for ourselves as well. So for those programs that have completed the community readiness assessment, they will be meeting the new Service Element 80 contract requirement that comes out in July to complete a community assessment to identify trackable outcomes, measurements to assist in your plan development. And for those new programs that are the 8 programs that are starting in July, this will also be helping them meet that requirement. The beauty of all this is that once we've completed this and we can get to the next round of assessing again, we will have some data about what's happening at the local level that we can then share with our legislators and our other stakeholders about our progress in regards to increasing awareness that gambling is an activity that carries risk, or if we're ready to move up to the next stages of the work across the social ecology, we can be looking at those environmental practices as well. So that was a lot of information. So I am going to unmute folks. Let's see if that worked. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. So are there any questions? If you have a question, can you put it in the chat box? Because for some reason I am getting some pretty, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but I'm getting quite a bit of feedback. Were there any questions? Go ahead and put it in the chat box if you had a question. Okay, well, if something pops up for you, feel free to go ahead and email me, or we still have some time left on the webinar. So, oh, okay. We had a question about when is the deadline to have the scoring turned into us for the community readiness assessment, and that is March 15th. March 15th was your deadline to have the scores to us off of the community readiness assessment for those that participated in that. So John, which county are you with or program? Can you put that in chat? Jefferson Best Care. Welcome, John. Glad that you were able to join us. Okay, so not seeing any other questions. Now we're at the provider sharing. So what I am going to do is try to unmute people individually as I go down the list and see where we're at. So Claire, I have unmuted you, Claire.
Hi, Roxanne. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Oh, great. So I will let Kalu and Via provide most of the updates from Multnomah County since they're on the call. But I did want to share that things that we're doing, I've sent out, I've probably disseminated almost 600 calendars so far. People really eating them up. We developed some new relationships with our local libraries in Multnomah County. So we've been trying to slowly get them into our libraries. So hopefully next year we'll need more. And with the art search calendars, I put out an email blast to all of our art teachers in Multnomah County across all of our 5 school districts. And I got at least one bite back. So I will be doing some presentations at one of the middle schools in East Multnomah County to all of their 7th and 8th grade students on problem gambling, kind of a 101 model, and then providing them some time to do some artwork and create a message for the calendar.
Great. Thanks, Claire. Wow. Okay, so next, Heather Oliver in Columbia County. Are you with us? Hi, Heather. Are you with us? You've got yourself muted. There you go.
Hi, Roxanne. Yeah, kind of just to follow what Claire said, we've been doing a lot of calendar distribution with our community partners, and in the next week or two, I'm going to be reaching out to the art teachers and our health teachers as well. Last year, I went into some classrooms and did a quick little lesson, and again, gave the students some time to work on artwork, and they actually made it an assignment, so every student had to turn a piece in, which was really cool. So we had a lot of artwork that we got back last year, so I'm hoping for the same thing this year, and finishing up scoring with our community readiness assessment. So that's kind of what we've been up to.
Great. Thank you, Heather. Okay. How about you, Jessica, in Deschutes? So hi, Jessica. I unmuted you, but we got a lot of typing, so I'm gonna try again and see. Are you there, Jessica? Want to give us an update? Okay, so Jessica's just finishing up scoring now, as well as the calendar distribution. So it sounds like a common theme. Thanks, Jessica. How about you, John, at Best Care in Jefferson? I unmuted you on the phone, but there you go, John. Are you there?
Let's test this. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Okay. So yeah, so I think we just got a little bit left to finish up with the scoring piece, and then we're going to be able to submit that to you here shortly, hopefully. And then, of course, we did receive the calendars, and so we're going to be distributing those as well. So not much other than that is going on.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Okay, Kalu, I've got you unmuted now. Do you have an update from VOA?
We've concluded our interviews and we are in the process of transcribing at this point, and we're starting that this coming week. Also, we are partnering with some of our organizations that we work with, and we started a calendar project already in Watus Boys and Girls, and also at a Ronrezo Middle School where we are teaching a curriculum on betting and gambling as well. So we started the calendar with them.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, how about you, Nick, in Crook County? Are you there?
I am.
Great.
So we are in the process of, I think I have two more interviews to transcribe, but as soon as those are done, we'll have them scored. And then I talked to our middle school health teacher a couple days ago, and she's fully prepared to have the kids do it. I forgot who else said this, but have the kids do an assignment to turn in an art submission for the calendar search. So we'll distribute calendars, get that art search going, and then get to scoring those interviews as soon as they're all transcribed.
Great, thanks, Nick. So that looks like, yeah, we got to sharing, and it's funny how many people log off immediately. They don't want to have to talk. So anyway, so that's it for the folks on the call today as far as sharing. Did anything, again, if anything came up for anybody else, and always feel free to email me. I love to also share your guys' information out on our next call. For some reason, usually a lot of times I can unmute everybody at the same time, but today we were just I picking up a lot of microphone noise. So that's it for the provider sharing. We didn't have any questions come up earlier. So I wanted to also share with you guys, we had mentioned, or I had sent out an email in early December that Julie Hines had, who was our Lane County Problem Gambling Prevention Coordinator, had been with the program since I want to say probably 2005, had been a big part of helping us move prevention forward for problem gambling prevention, moving out of really having an outreach focus on raising awareness of the treatment resources to really looking at prevention. But she got a great opportunity to move her family to Boston and take a position with the Massachusetts Council on Problem Gambling as the responsible gambling director. And so we wanted to, we were honoring the work that she had done. And so we, in true spirit of Julie Hines, being her U of O, but also Dodgers, and then also Red Sox fan all the way around, we found this great picture of her and had a bobblehead created for her. So I wanted to share that with you all so that you guys would know we did this on behalf of Problem Gambling Services for her time and efforts and great actual impact and contribution to the development of our system over the years. So we are wishing Julie well. We were able to present her a picture of this. The bobblehead didn't arrive in time to actually give it to her before she left, but we did give her a picture, which actually was very amusing for most of the people in the room, was most of her coworkers down in Eugene. But anyway, wanted to share with you that we had given to us, presenting Julie with a bobblehead in honor of all of her service to Problem Gambling Services for Oregon, and we wish her well. We know that we'll continue to work with her new hat. It's great that technology is where it's at now, that people can move on, but they're never really gone. So with that, I wanted to wrap up that our next Problem Gambling Prevention Connect meeting is February 20th. We will have David Corse joining us. Many folks have asked, well, gosh, what happens when we call the helpline? But then they also ask us, well, what does treatment really look like? Because that comes up when we might be out in the community doing a presentation or we talk about it as a resource, but what does it really look like when someone enrolls in gambling treatment? So David Course will be doing a snapshot of what gambling treatment looks like for us in February at our February meeting. Just a brief little overview. Again, we aren't looking for anybody to become experts in treatment, but just knowing, what people have to walk through when they come through the doors is always kind of an important piece, especially when we're, hoping that people as bystanders can help share information with people in their lives about gambling and the knowledge that it's an activity that carries risk, but for those people who need help, that this is what help looks like, and it doesn't have to be scary. A recent survey, that was one of the things that came out, was that people felt like either connecting with the helpline or treatment itself would be scary. So we have that coming on February 20th. Again, a big thank you to all of you for all the work that you guys do in the community and for joining with us today. With that, I think we're wrapping up a little bit early today, so we've now given you the gift of 13 minutes. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.